Brasilia, Brazil's new capital city, constructed in the 1950s as a futuristic city. It took just 4 years for this city that represents both efficiency and modernity to be stamped into what had been an untouched wilderness. A veritable playground for both planners and architects. Also a considerable challenge for both builders and civil engineers. At that time, newly elected President Juscelino Kubitschek proclaimed that the construction of Brasilia, 1,000 kilometers north of Rio de Janeiro, was to symbolize his term of office. Lucio Costa was given the task of planning the city, whose buildings, designed by architect Oscar Niemeyer, would fit perfectly into place. On the 21st of April 1960, Brasilia was to be unveiled, and Bruno Giorgi's works symbolized the city's futuristic design. Indeed, the city was recognized as a symbol of outstanding design, and in 1987 it was designated by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. A metropolis that represented the pinnacle of futuristic design had been realized. A modern, progressive, functional and integrated city that also contained the National Museum. The original idea had been to transform what could have been 50 years of building work into 5, but they actually completed it in just 4. The statement of the nation for the third millennium, but perhaps also a delusionary act of grandeur. As a modern religious building, the cathedral is considered to be a masterwork. Architect Oscar Niemeyer, a renowned atheist and committed communist, also designed churches according to the designs of his mentor, Le Corbusier. Figures of the apostles occupy the pathway that leads to the underground entrance, to what appears to be an inordinately large circular tent, fashioned as a crown of thorns. Within this great internal space, a delicately crafted cross adorns the main altar, and several aluminium angels hang down as if hovering from the ceiling. Large, colorful, stained glass windows permit light to stream into the hall. The heavens seem to be captured within this area. Much sacred artwork extends across the spacious interior, modern designs, yet seemingly simple and theme-orientated. The diameter of the circular structure measures around 71 meters, and as with most of the city's main buildings, is surrounded with pools of water. This, the largest house of God in this utopian city, is more than 30 meters high. The Congresso Nacional is the city's most famous building complex, Oscar Niemeyer's personal masterpiece. A dome and bowl linked by 2 towers. Corridors with photo galleries and countless government offices. A mighty center of administrative power. From here, Brazil is governed, and the Senate decides its laws. A symbol of the division of power within a democracy. The Palacio de Justicia is one of 17 government buildings upon which 6 external artificial waterfalls pay homage to the surrounding scenery. Concrete, glass, water, like identical architectural structures. The story of a visionary dream. The Palacio de Alvorada was one of the first structures to be built in the city. located in a fine position on an artificial lake. The president's 110-meter-long private residence can only be viewed from the outside, under the watchful eye of the military. Despite security, a beautiful location on the lake and spacious gardens, the presidents and their families were not content with this worldly architecture. The Palacio do Itamaraty is home to the Foreign Ministry. Oscar Niemeyer's most beautiful work appears to hover above the water. Bruno Giorgi's white plastic of 5 continents refreshes the eye of the beholder, held within a mass of glass and concrete. However, the constructions lead towards an orderly and purposeful conclusion. The monumental Esplanada dos Ministerios, a wide green strip surrounded by spacious boulevards and framed by each of the ministerial buildings. At the furthest end of Eiche Monumental is the Praça dos Três Poderes. A rich forest of political symbols adorn the square, to whose name the fundamental principles of the Brazilian Constitution are firmly planted. The heart of the city, the center of Plano Piloto. The stark facades of the Obersten Gerichtshof flank the Justicia. And the pedestrianized monument Panteão de Patria Tancredo Neves is adorned by a fine white dove, a memorial to democracy, in esoterically inspired Bauhaus architecture. Another of Niemeyer's masterpieces is situated on the Palacio de Planalto. The sober seat of office of the president reflects the cycle of daily affairs. Life, work, relaxation. Fundamental discoveries. President Kubitschek finally implemented a plan which had been part of each plan that had been written into the Constitution since 1891 for a new capital city. Lucio Costa's model of the city is on public view. The concept with which he won the competition for the test tube city, the city of hope. Along these lines and in empathy, the National Theatre is a pyramid of steel that has stamped its own visual character onto the city. And from the point where a great bridge spans across the Lago do Parano, everything was to be a new discovery. Nothing existed here before any of this. Not even a transit route to what was to be the greatest building site in Brazil. Those many skilled artists who had been invited to work on the highly innovative and adventurous city of Brasilia were allowed much freedom of expression. A monument to a foregone future.